silence your cell phones if you're not paying. Let's see what you have to say, please.
Attaboy.
Yeah, Justin.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, Justin.
Woo!
So I'm Justin, if you don't know me.
Yeah.
I'm a junior. I seem to have lost my voice after the second song, so that's awesome. So tonight, tonight I want to tell y'all about a God that loves you so much and that so desperately wants to get to know you and be your friend. But before I do that, I want to tell y'all a little story. So when I was in second grade, I had this teacher, and her name was Miss Bull, and I hated Miss Bull. And so she used to throw high heels at us in class and make us do push-ups if we were like breaking the rules and stuff. Like, this teacher was like hardcore. And so I didn't really like her. And at recess one day, there was this hill on the playground, and I was going to roll down it, just because that's what second graders do. And so I get to the top of the hill, and Miss Bull looks at me and says, "If you roll down that hill, I'm sending you to the principal's office." And so I was like, "All right, bet." I was always looking for a way to get on Miss Bull's nerves, just because I didn't like her. And so I was like, "I'm gonna roll down this hill." And so I roll down the hill, and then I get to the bottom of the hill, and my friend Josh comes up, and he jumps on my back. And then after that, I look up from the bottom of the hill, up at Miss Bull at the top of the hill, and I realize why she told me not to roll down the hill. And it was because the whole hill was covered in goose poop. And so I had just rolled through a bunch of goose poop. And she wasn't telling me not to roll down the hill because, she didn't want me to have fun or she was trying to be mean or whatever. She just didn't want me to be covered in goose poop. And so, like she said, I got sent to the principal's office, and they wrote me up and gave me a referral, and I had to go home and get my parents to sign it. And I didn't want this to happen. And so I got home, I took the referral, and I hid it underneath my bed, all the way in the back. I thought they would never find it. And later that night, we're sitting down at the kitchen table, and my parents get a phone call. And it's Josh's mom. And I hear my parents say, "Oh, Justin did what now?" And as soon as my mom said that, I was like, I got caught.
You're beat.
I thought I had gone away with it. Turns out I didn't. But so there's a story in the Bible that kind of reminds me a little bit of this. And so it's found in Luke 19. And it's the story of Zacchaeus. And so Zacchaeus was a tax collector, if you don't know what that is. He's a dude that went around and took the money from people that they owed the government. And so Zacchaeus, he would go up to someone's house and say they owed $10. He would say, "You owe $100. And he'd have 2 Roman guards with them. And so there was nothing that they could do. They had to pay the $100. Otherwise, they would get arrested. And so, Zacchaeus would pocket all this extra money to himself. He would turn the 10 in that they owed and then keep 90 for himself. And so no one liked Zacchaeus because of this. And so Luke 19, 1 through 10, it says, "Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, 'Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today.' So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, 'He has gone to be the guest of a sinner.' But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, 'Look, Lord, here and now I give half my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount.' Jesus said to him, 'Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost.'" Right, so Zacchaeus was a short dude, and he wanted to see Jesus, but he didn't really want Jesus to see him. And so what he did was he ran ahead of the whole crowd, and he climbed up in this big old tree so that he could look down at Jesus and see him. See, and maybe he didn't want Jesus to see him because he thought that Jesus would get mad at him. Just like I thought my parents would get mad at me. Maybe Zacchaeus didn't want Jesus to see him because he thought that Jesus wouldn't want anything to do with someone like him. Maybe he didn't want Jesus to see him because he was afraid that maybe Jesus was going to tell everyone how bad of a guy Zacchaeus really was. See, I think the real reason that Zacchaeus didn't want Jesus to see him was because Zacchaeus believed what everyone was saying about him. Zacchaeus believed that he was nothing better than just a thief or a bad tax collector or just a bad dude in general. See, I think Zacchaeus started to believe all these things as truth. See, but Jesus didn't do any of these things. He didn't get mad at him. He didn't talk about how bad of a dude he was. He didn't want nothing to do with him. In fact, Jesus called Zacchaeus by name. He said, Zacchaeus, come on down from that tree. I want to get to know you. I want to be your friend. Zacchaeus, let's go back to your house. See, Jesus already knew who Zacchaeus was before he even saw him in that tree. And he knew that because he crafted him. See, Jesus knows who we are before we even meet Jesus. And Jesus knows that because he crafted us. There's this other verse in Luke. It's Luke 12:7. And it says, indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Last week, Hannah read a verse that said, I have formed you in your mother's womb. See, Jesus knows exactly how many hairs are on our head. Right? That's a pretty hard thing to know. If he knows that, he probably knows a lot more about us. See, Jesus formed us in our mother's womb. Before we even came onto the earth, before we even were born, he knew who you were. He knew all we were going to be. He knew everything we were going to become. See, Jesus calls Zacchaeus by name. He says, I don't care what you've done. I don't care that you've stolen this money. I don't care that people think you're a bad dude. I still want to get to know you. I still want to be your friend. He says, I want you to know just how much my Father and I love you. You see, Jesus didn't say, hey, Zacchaeus, I want to be your friend if you change everything about yourself. He didn't say, hey, Zacchaeus, I want to be your friend if you give back all this money. No, he said, Zacchaeus, I want to know you just as you are. I want you to come just as you are. You don't need to change anything about yourself. Just come. See, and Jesus does the same thing for us. He doesn't say, hey, you got to change everything about yourself before you start following him. See, he doesn't say, hey, man, you got to clean your life up before you start calling yourself a Christian. He doesn't do any of that. He says, come as you are. I just want to get to know you. I just really want you to know me. You see, Jesus also, he calls us his bride. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's actually the greatest thing ever. See, and Jesus wants us to make a commitment to him forever. That's what he means. See, Zacchaeus made a commitment to Jesus forever. He says, I will give half my possessions to the poor. And if I've taken anything from anyone, I'll give it back to them 4 times as much. That was Zacchaeus making a lifelong commitment to Jesus. That was Zacchaeus turning around from where his life was going and started running towards Jesus. That was Zacchaeus repenting. See, and in return for this, Jesus says, I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to forsake you. I'm never going to leave your side. I'm going to give you eternity in heaven. So, about 4 years ago, this summer, 4 years ago, my sister got married. And so she asked me to be the photographer for her wedding. And it was a pretty awesome time. It was my first wedding. And I can't think of a better first wedding than my own sister's wedding that I got to take pictures for. And so at a wedding, if you've never been at one, all the eyes are on the bride, just as it should be. Every eye in the house is looking at the bride as she walks down the aisle. I want to show you all this picture. Zay, will you hit the next slide? So this is my dad and my sister, right? And so my sister, she's walking down to the aisle. And you see that loving look that my dad has on his face as he's looking at my sister? See, that's how God looks at us. For Jesus' bride, someone has to give us to him. That's God giving us away to Jesus. And right here, that's exactly how God looks at you. We hit the next slide today. So, at the wedding, every eye is on the bride. And then just for a split second, people turn around and look at the groom, just to see the look on his face. Right? They want to see this look. You see how my brother-in-law has tears in his eyes, and how his mouth can't help but hang open because he's so awestruck? That's how Jesus looks at you. See, and then after they're done looking at the groom, just for a split second, just to see this look, they look back at the bride. Say, we hit the third slide? They're looking for this again. Everyone wants to look at the bride. You see how my dad is still looking at her with that loving look on his face? See, God's never going to stop looking at you like that. Can y'all imagine what would have happened if someone stood up in this wedding and started yelling, "Boo, this wedding sucks, you suck," right? There would have been a commotion, right? If my dad or if my brother-in-law didn't do something about it, I sure would have. See, why do we listen to what everyone else has to say about us when what God and Jesus have to say about us is so much better and so much more true? You see, I think one of the reasons that we listen to what everyone else has to say about us, except for the one that made us, is because we started to believe what everyone else is saying about us. See, it's just like Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus believed what everyone else said about him, except for what Jesus said about him. Jesus was the only one saying, "Zacchaeus, you're a good dude. I want to get to know you." See, Jesus says to each and every one of us that we are loved, that he wants to get to know us, and that he's going to be there no matter what. See, it doesn't matter if you don't want to know Jesus, because he already knows you. He made you. It doesn't matter if last weekend you were out partying or doing something else that you shouldn't be doing. He still loves you. He still calls you his. It doesn't matter if you're a lot more comfortable just sitting up in the tree and looking at Jesus from a distance instead of being face to face with him. Because he's still going to walk by. He's going to call you by name. He's going to say, "Hey, will you come down? I want to get to know you. Let's go back to your house." See, if you haven't heard anything tonight, I want you to hear this. Jesus so desperately wants you to know him. And he loves you so much. Tonight we sang the song, How He Loves. And 2 years ago, I got this hat right here because of that song. Because I never wanted to forget how much God loves me. And I still never did. Right? The song goes, "He is jealous for me. Loves like a hurricane. I am a tree, bending beneath the weight of his mercy." How awesome is it that we can compare God's love and God's grace and God's mercy to this hurricane bending this huge tree? It's that big. It's that powerful. It's that heavy. See, I still never want to forget that. And I never want y'all to forget that. I want to leave y'all with 3 questions that you can talk about on your way to Post Club Grub, or talk to them with your leader or with one of your friends at Post Club Grub. Those questions are, what are other people saying about us that we are believing is true? The second one is, what is Jesus saying about us? And the third one is, what's standing in the way of us believing what Jesus says about us? All right, I'm going to pray, and then we'll head on to Post Club Grub. Thanks for listening. Hey, God, thank you for the people in this room. God, thank you for the people that want to come here on a Monday night, sing songs and play games and hear about you. God, thank you that we get to do this. God, thank you that you see us up in the tree, and you're not content with letting us stay where we are. And so you say, "Hey man, why don't you come on down?" God, I pray that we remember how much you love us. God, I pray that we cling to what you have to say about us. We don't listen to what anyone else has to say about us. God, I pray that we find our identity. God, that we find our worth. God, that we find our value in you and what you've done for us. God, I pray all these things in your son's name. Amen. Amen. All right.